Just because the sound of your cry is louder, it doesn't mean your pain is greater. How are you going to compensate the lives of the people who had to live miserably? These are just two main lines out of many from the Korean drama called Just Between Lovers. And there's a reason for these two lines. There's a reason to bring up about Korean dramas. There's a reason to everything. And today, we're going to find out some of those reasons. Welcome back to another episode of a Wanderer's Way podcast. I'm your host, Dustin. Thank you for joining me for this episode. And today we're talking about Korean dramas. And we're not talking about certain ones that are very popular, at least here in the States and around the globe, like Boys Over Flowers. No, we're not talking about that over dramatic style. No, we're talking about the more realistic side of romance drama mix. We're talking about ones that can truly inspire, captivate, and make you a little sad or very sad, depending. So let's just jump right into it, and I'm gonna spill out the main two ones that I want to talk about today. So the first one being one that I just watched a year ago or so, called Just Between Lovers. Absolutely fantastic. And then the new one, which I just finished, called More Than Friends. You know, when you really look at the difference between the Korean dramas and then, the American dramas, it's so different. It's ridiculous. And for me, trying to find something that's like a romance film or show, there's nothing that seems to feel real. It's just, you can tell it's just written in this crappy, overdramatic crap and unrealistic love. Except for, Nicholas Sparks. Okay, I give him credit out of everyone. It's usually written pretty well, but it's still not my favorite. And then I ran across Just Between Lovers on Hulu. And I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know. Like, the synopsis was good. It sounds good. But I couldn't get myself to just click on it because I've seen so many different Korean dramas that are just so over dramatic, and I was just nah. Like, for example, Boys Over Flowers. Well, that was over dramatic. Now, it was good. It wasn't bad, but it was way over the top dramatic. Now, the ones that I'm talking about here are not that kind of dramatic. It's real drama, real stories. Like, it really, So, don't get me wrong on this. There's nothing wrong with Boys Over Flowers. I actually enjoyed it myself. However, if I'm choosing between, Boys Over Flowers is not on my top. these two that I'm mentioning here that I'm going to talk about, these ones are on my top list. So let's get into it. All right, just to let you guys know, I am not putting any spoilers into this podcast. So I am going to be very limited on what I'm talking about. So I'm going to express how I felt when I watched it, the emotions it gave me, how the storyline was without actually giving any specifics. So don't expect huge, thorough detail on either of these shows. With that being said, let's get into Just Between Lovers. So this show, like I said, was a random click on Hulu because I couldn't find anything else. I couldn't find any anime I wanted to watch. I couldn't find any other shows. I felt bored and I was like, screw it. I'm clicking on it. Let's just see. And it actually came out to be something very, very well done. Beyond what it appears and what I actually thought would actually be. So, let me say it this way. So it's based on two main characters that were victims or survivors, I guess you can say, of a horrific building accident. And that's kind of how it started. And it was very well presented. And when I first clicked on it, I grabbed my phone because I was just scrolling through Facebook while it was on just to have something on. And then something just caught my eye and I put my phone down and I just couldn't keep my eyes off it. And then 10 episodes later, I'm still watching it. And it's so good. And the main storyline takes place 13 years afterwards, with the pain and suffering of what happened in the past. And it works so well. It really does very, very well. And it shows a lot of flashbacks. So so when it gets to a certain part in the storyline, it kind of does a flashback to get you to understand more. And it does it so well. It's so well presented and well written. Like, I was actually really shocked with it. And the character development throughout the entire series was really good too. Like, you have like the love-hate relationship with certain characters a lot of times. This one, I'd sit there and be like I had so many mixed emotions that were good. None of them made me hate a character. I did not hate the character at all for the main two. I thoroughly enjoyed them. They really represented reality, made you feel like you were part of it, like you could truly experience it in real life. It wasn't some fake, over-the-top, dramatic kind of experience. It was literal. And you could really empathize with it and sympathize. It was just so well done. And yes, just being a drama too, also love. And you see both of the characters throughout the entire series continue with development and to grow stronger and to grow better. I'm so limited in what I want to say just because I don't want to spoil anything. But it's so good. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But if you want to find a romance, a true romance that has drama with a true storyline that really puts every piece to a puzzle from the beginning to the very end, this is the series to do. Oh man, that's literally all I can really say. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. With that one being said, I just want to go to the next series that I watched recently. I literally just finished it. And this was another random one that just popped up on Hulu. And I was like, okay. This one actually sounded a lot better than Just Between Lovers. Now, if I'm going to say which one is best, I will go with Just Between Lovers, just because it's just so perfect. Like, everything is so well, perfectly written, planned. The acting is flawless. Now, that doesn't take away anything from More Than Friends. And this one, I actually really enjoyed too. And it's also a realistic take on things. They did have some, normal stereotypes. Or not stereotypes, stigma, I guess. The typical guy that's not nice to the lady. Kind of like in Boys Over Flowers, for example. Not very nice, very mean, a jerk, but the girl still loves him. It had that, and that's not my take on a lot of things. However, this is done very well, though, with the whole storyline. And I predicted one ending, which, the majority of shows and movies all have this pretty much that same ending. Wow, was I wrong? Let me tell you, you're going to think the same exact thing as me. Same exact thing as me. And then you hit the end and you're going, whoa, wait, what? Like, they really get you throughout the story. Every time you think you have that predicted, it changes just a tad bit just to mix it up. And they do it very well too. So, More Than Friends, I'm going to read the synopsis here. It tells the story of a man and a woman who keeps having misunderstandings. They have been in a one-sided love for 10 years for each other. He's a photographer, but with his handsome looks, he could be misinterpreted as a model. He is handsome and with excellent capabilities. After reading that, I'm not a big fan of that synopsis, honestly. It literally mentions nothing of the main character. But yeah, so this one, obviously, as you heard from the synopsis, is a one-sided love. It's one of those typical stories, but it's written differently. It's not the over-the-top drama. And it's very, very well written. I liked it. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. There's some times when it just pissed me off, and not because of the story, because one of the characters. And not in the bad way. I mean, like, oh, why? But it throws a nice curveball at you that you actually did not expect. I can't say anything. Darn it. If I could say it without ruining it, I would. But I just can't ruin anything. And I don't want to spoil it because you guys have to go out and watch these ones. Now, the thing that I like about between these two drama/romance shows is how well it's written, but how clean it is. And what I mean by clean is you don't have a sex scene everywhere throughout it. You don't see them half nudity. There's nothing wrong with it. But I mean, it actually shows a story without having to take the character's clothes off. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And that's not what Hollywood does. Not even Nicholas Sparks. Like, his stuff, well, they have a lot of sex, so. But that's what I love about it. If someone were to, like, say if my mom were to walk in or something like that, or my grandmother, I wouldn't feel that I would have to pause it or shut it off and wait for them to leave. It's very clean, but it's not that clean where it's just innocent clean, but it's clean and real at the same time. And that's what I love about both of them. And it shows how love is, how real it can be, also how, agonizing it can also be, with real life personal problems with each character on top of that. and then how others around them can affect them, or they can affect those around them. And they do it so well between both of the series. Like, I can't, yeah, wish I could say more. Dang it. But it's so good. And More Than Friends actually came out in 2020. So it's only a year old, but this is the first time I actually watched it. And I think Just Between Lovers came out in 2018. I think. I can't quite remember. But yes, if you're looking for something that's clean, excellent storytelling for every inch of every storyline, those are the two series I would definitely point you into. If you're looking for the over-the-top comedy style drama that just has no realism to it, like Boys Over Flowers, I don't know much, because usually a lot of them turn me off. I think Boys Over Flowers was the only one that did not turn me off, but it took me years to actually go and watch it. Like, years to actually go and watch it. As everyone else is talking about how amazing it is, I didn't actually watch it until just last year. Yeah, I'm not lying either. So. But I would totally rewatch it. Like, I actually liked it. In the way that Boys Over Flowers reminded me a lot of the Japanese dramas are. What is it? Mischievous Kiss. That's another one of those quirky, corny dramas actually derived from an anime. Honestly, Mischievous Kiss did. And I think Boys Over Flowers did too. So that might be why it's interpreted as that over dramatic style. It's because they both actually derive from mangas and animes. Whereas Just Between Lovers and More Than Friends did not. So maybe that might be the difference of why they're so vastly different, but yet, still one and the same, drama and romance. Yes, with that being said, I hope you guys will actually go out and check these ones out if you're into Korean dramas. And with that being said, y'all have a wonderful day.